What's up, guys? I'm Dave and you're watching D-Star RC Reviews. I just wanted to do a video that might be a little easier to keep up with, not so lengthy. I think some of the videos I try and make, I try to cover almost everything I can think of, and then in the end I think it just gets drawn out. But for today, I just wanted to quickly go over this Traxxas Slash 4x4 10 scale, a real short and simple version of what I've done with my last video. So this one is basically about upgrades, what I've done, where it's at, and what I'm kind of waiting on getting, and maybe even what I would like to get next. So right now, I did already kind of go over this vehicle, but let's move down here. So as we can see, this piece here is a 12mm hex, and you need these because that's how you mount the tires onto. As we see here, there's that 12mm hex shape that basically sits right there. As we can see, with one hand it's never that easy, but there it is. See, if you look at the back wheel, and basically then you simply just put it on like that. So when we go back to the rear here, you see that I don't have any, and what I did was I ordered the red aluminum version, a set of 4, so I'm going to be replacing those hopefully by, I believe, Tuesday. So I'll be doing a video on those. Also, I don't have it open. I'll see if I could do this by hand while I'm talking, but I ordered a new spur gear for in here, because right now it's just making this, I don't know, crappy sound, and I tried adjusting the motor, seeing if I could get that to fade out and just blend in, but no, because the spur gear itself, if I could just get this open, I believe it's only one hex there. I'm going to kind of try and talk and see if I can find it, but basically it looks like it's worn down, like it was not adjusted right the last time I tried using it. And there goes the hex. But anyways, so I also ordered that piece or part, and if I could get this cracked open anytime soon, just wanted to point out what the spur gear is and where it's located and what it does. But basically I can see, and you'll see here in a second, that it looks worn out. So the pinion gear is barely grabbing it, and if it is, it's just probably chewing it up worse than it already is. So if possible to get this out with one hand, awesome. Just finding a good leverage spot here. So here it is. So that's the pinion gear, the metal one. Spur gear is this cheapy original Traxxas, which at one point worked just fine. As I do upgrades, you know, I gotta move the motor around at times and take it off. So for instance, when I installed this red aluminum center drive shaft, I've had to move that, and ever since then it never seemed to have lined up as well, or it just doesn't sound like I remember it. So short and simple, I ordered a metal version, so I will be installing that. Hopefully, if I can get both the 12mm hex and the spur gear, I'll do probably all in one video, because I don't think it's going to take that long. I mean, these are obviously just as simple as taking this nut off, getting the pins on first on the shaft. Right there, there's a hole. and then just putting them back on and then putting the wheels on there. That whole thing would literally only take like 3 minutes. And then this piece here may take just a bit more, but in this case all I would have to do is remove these 2 hex nuts or screws, and then I believe there's the 2 other screws on the bottom. Let's just quickly flip over and see. Right there. 1 on each end. There's 1, 2, so the 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top. I'd have that all cracked open. When those are removed, this whole back housing, including shocks, this whole piece literally just pulls apart. This comes along with it, and it's pretty easy to get at from there. So that's upcoming, hopefully early this coming week. We'll put that back together. I did already state that the steering servo, I bought a new one, so I'll put that in here, get that plugged up again. And for those that are wondering, this is I believe the 5-channel receiver, 2.4 gigahertz, and let's see here, this section right here, the first number 1 is steering, third one is motor. I would assume if you have the type of transmitter, this could be either like cruise control or like diff lock switch on your Traxxas transmitter if you got that one. And I believe this would be the area of the modules. So when you get the module, you would get a specific mount for it if you want to buy that, or you could just find somewhere to mount it. And then you'd plug it in right there, and that would, you know, communicate with that module that you've added. And I believe these are just any old extra thing, really. You could put lights on a switch, you could get the sound, the Traxxas sells the sound, the engine noise, and forward and reverse, and park and idle. So there's that. And the thing I would like to do next, besides spur gear upgrade and the 12mm upgrade, I think my next choice would be one of 2, or possibly both, or one or the other, but either way, the actual front and rear drive shaft upgrade, because initially I've already had one of these break right about here, literally like almost a perfect break, like right there all the way around. So I've had to take those off at that time, and then I did order and already receive and did off camera, I installed that one back in. So if not that, then maybe these camber, and I forget what the other word is, but getting these with the red aluminum rather than the plastic, because otherwise these are just fine. They have zero issue with them. And then, as I said even on the other video, you know, I could dink around and get, you know, the actual battery tray holder is red aluminum. I pointed out the actual motor mount could be red aluminum. I wish I'd remember the name. I didn't think I was going to point this out over again, but I would like to also get the front, or the, well, this is the rear. The rear, here is the front. These blue parts replaced with the red aluminum, just to go along with everything else, or possibly even just full-on chrome. And that would be basically it. I mean, once I get all the little tedious upgrades done and get this running smooth again, I'd hope in future videos, maybe if nothing else, to sit there and do the module stuff as I pointed out, because that alone is, I mean, depending if you get a deal and if it's used or not, you're looking at least probably even another couple $100 minimum just to get, you know, the module, the little plugs that, you know, you're going to need for your sensors. So that's including like heat sensor, speed sensor, GPS sensor, revolution type sensors that would mount in there on your spur gear. All these little pieces. You got a bracket you would need to buy to mount the module in, top it all off. This is the receiver I'm using, or the transmitter I'm using for the 4x4. And the good part is it is, you know, the option is here. You just take that screw out and put in the module on the actual transmitter. So future time, probably looking more at, you know, spring, unless I get a decent job here coming up. I'm looking at other jobs too. Then I do that, you know, middle or end of winter, because as we see, now it's snowing around here, or has been. So there you go. That would be what I'm looking into in the coming up videos on this vehicle. I would like to say thank you for everyone that has been watching the videos. A big thanks for the ones who have actually subscribed. And I just hope that these videos basically help out the new guys like myself who are interested in the hobby and would like to get into it just as I am. I guess the last thing I'd even mention is if anyone's got anything to say about anything, you know, questions, anything, like, you know, here, why don't you try to do a video on shock installation, let alone, you know, oil replacement, or just getting the oil in the shocks. How do you do it? I know it's all over the internet, but anything like that, or even, you know, how did you do something, or why did you do this, or the part that you've upgraded, how much of a difference does it make? Any kind of question like that, go ahead and leave it in the comments. And at this time, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys. Thumbs up, like and subscribe. Have a good one.